Welcome back everyone to a new episode. Today we are making some pretty big changes to the layout. This will be the last time that you see the sections in this setup. But do not worry, nothing is actually leaving. Everything is just kind of moving a little bit. Starting with the small section. I of course take the warehouse and the boxcar off, and of course the small section. Well, that was the easiest part of the whole project. This one is 2.5 feet by 10 feet, which makes it a little bit more tough to move, but not too bad. After a short while, I moved it to the center of the room. This will allow me to have a nice workspace for the new section. So the first stop is Home Depot, and that is to get some materials I need. So far I got two 2x2s and two 2x4s. Then next up is the 1-inch thick pink insulation foam, which sadly has gone up $2 since I last bought it. Lastly is the 1/2 inch 4x8 piece of plywood, which costs a whopping $55. Next stop is Hobbytown, where I need to get some track. They didn't have any cork, but they did at least have my Code 100 Atlas Flex track. Now let's see what switches they have in stock. And as usual, Hobbytown fails me again. You may see this one single switch right here, but this is actually an automatic switch, which is not what I need. Guess I'll have to order online. After some measuring, cutting, and drilling, we now have the 2x2s attached to the wall. These lips will support the plywood, which comes next. Because the plywood comes in a 4x8 sheet, I can easily cut down the middle to get two 2x8 sheets. One of them will stay 8x2 feet, and the other one will be cut about 5.5 feet. The foam also does come in a 4x8 sheet and can be easily snapped in half perfectly. The second piece of foam will be cut to the same measurements as the plywood. Now I have a large 13.5 by 2 feet blank canvas to work on. So when it does come to this section of the layout, I do plan for it to be a little bit more prototypical, so therefore I will be going out and shooting more footage and being more exact with how I do things. One thing that is really different is being able to see this side of the layout, because for the last few months I've only been looking at it from the other side. You can definitely see all the unfinished and unpainted parts of it. So I do have about 8 pieces of flex track so far. This is the one I showed at the store, which I was lucky enough to get. I do also have one right switch left over from before. And I will also be using this HO scale cork row bed. This will be used to raise the track to make it look more prototypical. And that's something I actually haven't used so far on this layout. Now if I do end up deciding to put the section here, I will have to end up doing some construction to have these two tracks go right instead of left. Overall it shouldn't be too bad since I actually haven't ballasted it yet. Like I have this last week, I'll actually have to really think about how I'm going to do this. But hopefully by Monday or so I'll actually have a full plan of what I'm going to do. The last real thing I do in this episode is just pretty much putting back all the things on the layout. This episode did feel really fast and really rushed, and that's pretty much because it was. But don't worry, next week we'll actually have some plans, and we will actually have some work done on the layout. But I just wanted to get this episode out for you guys, so you guys kind of understand what's going on at the moment. But pretty much this episode was all about getting the foundation down, and kind of explaining what the future's going to hold. Alright, that's going to be the end of today's episode. If you guys did like the video, please do like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot of good content in the future, and hopefully you guys want to come along and learn a few things with me. So on that note, I will see you guys in next week's episode.